Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today's video. We're diving into the world of Washington quarter dollars, one of the most iconic coins in the US mint's history. But we're not just talking about your everyday quarter. No, today we're going to explore the top 8 Washington quarters that are worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Some of these coins are fetching prices that could make your jaw drop. From rare varieties to coins with unique minting errors, let's take a look at some of the highest value Washington quarters currently on the market. Some of them are even worth $1 million. We're diving deep into one of the most interesting coins in modern American history, the 1983 Washington quarter. You might be surprised to learn that this common-looking coin could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on a few key factors. Stick around, because we're about to uncover the history, the hidden gems, and the big money behind the seemingly ordinary coin. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a part of American currency since 1932. It was introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington and has remained a staple in our pockets and purses ever since. The design features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse, while the reverse shows an eagle with outstretched wings, which remained standard until 1998. Now let's talk about 1983. A very important year for coin collectors. In 1982 and 1983, the U.S. Mint did not produce mint sets for collectors. That means coins from these years, especially in uncirculated condition, are significantly harder to find. This is one of the reasons the 1983 quarters, particularly the 1983D from the Denver Mint, have gained so much attention from numismatists and investors alike. The 1983D quarter is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, which was the standard for coins after the U.S. stopped using silver in regular quarters in 1965. While most of these coins are worth only face value in circulated condition, there are rare exceptions that can fetch serious money. One of the biggest factors in determining value is condition. A 1983D quarter in heavily worn condition is likely only worth 25 cents. But in mint state condition, we're talking about coins that have never been used in circulation and show no signs of wear. The value jumps significantly. Coins graded MS65 or higher can sell for $20 to $50. But if you find one graded MS67 or MS68, you're looking at coins that have sold for over $500. And in some cases, even more at auction. So why such a big difference in price? The answer lies in scarcity and demand. Since no mint sets were made that year, very few high-grade examples were preserved. Collectors are always looking to complete their sets, and that demand drives the price higher for well-preserved coins. But it gets even better. One of the most valuable versions of the 1983D quarter is a rare error known as the spitting eagle variety. This is a die break that appears on the reverse side of the coin, showing a line extending from the eagle's beak, making it look like the eagle is spitting. This type of die break is small but highly collectible, and depending on condition, it can be worth anywhere from $50 to over $300. There's also the off-center strike error, where the coin's design is not properly aligned. These coins are especially rare and can sell for several $100s depending on how dramatic the error is. And if you ever come across a 1983D quarter struck on the wrong planchet, say on a dime planchet or even a foreign coin planchet, you could be looking at a 4-figure payday. Let's talk numbers. As of today, a 1983D quarter in regular circulated condition is still just worth a quarter. But in mint state condition, prices climb quickly. Here's a rough breakdown of current market value. MS60 to MS63. Around $5 to $20 MS64. Around $25 to $35 MS65. $40 to $50 MS66. $100 to $200 MS67. $400 and up error coins or special varieties. $50 to over $1,000 depending on the error. Some recent auction results show 1983D quarters in pristine condition selling for over $1,500. That's right, a 25 cents coin selling for more than $1,000, just because of its condition and rarity. So what should you look for if you want to strike gold with this coin? First, always check for mint marks. The D for Denver will be on the obverse, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Next, look closely at the condition. If it has little or no wear and looks especially sharp, it may be worth getting graded. Finally, Inspect the reverse for any signs of the spitting eagle die crack or other unusual marks. You don't need to be a professional coin collector to find one of these. Sometimes it's just a matter of paying closer attention to the coins in your pocket change. And if you're really serious, consider buying a roll of quarters from the bank and searching through them. You never know what hidden treasure you might find. To sum it up, the 1983 Washington quarter may look like an ordinary coin, but it holds a special place in numismatic history. With no official mint sets, a scarcity of high-grade examples, and a few rare and valuable error varieties, this is one coin that deserves a second look. So the next time you get change back at the store, check those quarters. Because that small piece of change could be worth a whole lot more than you think. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable US coins. And in this video, we're focusing on two incredibly intriguing coins that have stirred excitement in the numismatic community: the 2003 Washington quarter and the mysterious mention of an 1821 Washington quarter. Are these coins really worth a fortune? And what's the story behind them? Let's find out. First up, let's talk about the 2003 Washington quarter. This quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program launched by the U.S. Mint in 1999. In 2003, the Mint issued 5 state quarters, including Illinois, Alabama, Maine, Missouri, and Arkansas. The D-Mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. While millions of these coins were minted for circulation, certain error varieties and pristine uncirculated specimens can be worth a surprising amount today. Most 2003 quarters in average circulated condition are only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, collectors prize coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS-65 and above. An MS-67 graded 2003 quarter can fetch between $50 and $200 at auction depending on the state featured and the quality of the strike. But it doesn't stop there. Some rare error coins from this year have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. For example, 2003 quarters with double die errors, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet are extremely rare. These error coins are highly sought after and have sold for up to $5,000 or more, depending on the uniqueness and condition of the error. So if you have a 2003 quarter, especially from Missouri or Maine, and it looks a little odd or unusually sharp, it might be worth getting it professionally appraised. Now let's address the buzz around the so-called 1821 Washington quarter. Here's the twist: the Washington quarter design didn't even exist in 1821. George Washington didn't appear on U.S. coins until 1932, which marked the bicentennial of his birth. So what's the story behind the 1821 quarter? Most likely, it's a case of misinterpretation or confusion with another coin. The $quarter coin minted in 1821 was part of the capped bust series, not the Washington series. These coins feature Liberty wearing a Phrygian cap and were struck in very limited numbers compared to modern quarters. The 1821 capped bust quarter is a genuine numismatic treasure, with only about 100,000 originally minted. Because of their age, rarity, and historical significance, these coins can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. If you're lucky enough to own an 1821 capped bust quarter in fine condition, its value can range anywhere from $300 to over $5,000. Coins in extremely fine or uncirculated condition can command even higher premiums, especially if graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. Unique specimens, especially those with proof-like surfaces or rare varieties, can break the 5-figure mark. So while there's no such thing as a Washington quarter from 1821, the actual 1821 capped bust quarter is a real historic coin that is extremely valuable today. Let's bring it back to the present. What's the market like today for these coins? Well, coin collecting is hotter than ever, with investors and collectors alike looking for tangible assets. The market for error coins and high-grade state quarters has remained strong. A coin that might have been worth just a few bucks 10 years ago could now sell for hundreds thanks to increased demand and scarcity of high-grade examples. As for the 2003 quarters, values vary widely depending on condition and error type. It's worth checking your loose change or coin rolls for any unusual coins. If you find one with strange doubling, unusual weight, or a design that's misaligned, it could be worth sending to a grading service. If you're serious about coin collecting or selling, always handle coins by the edges, store them in proper holders, and get them graded before attempting to sell to maximize your return. And if you're wondering where to sell rare coins like the 2003 D quarter or the 1821 capped bust quarter, auction sites like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or Certified Coin dealers are your best bet. Avoid selling to unverified buyers or pawn shops unless you know the full value of what you have. To recap, the 2003 D Washington quarter can be worth big money if it has unique errors or is in high mint state grades. And while a Washington quarter didn't exist in 1821, the capped bust quarter from that year is a real and extremely collectible piece of American coinage history. These coins aren't just currency. They're miniature windows into the past and treasures waiting to be discovered. We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2003 P1836 Washington quarter dollar. Specifically, the Arkansas State Quarter issued as part of the U.S. Mint's wildly successful 50-state quarters program. If you have one of these coins lying around, don't be so quick to spend it. Some versions are worth way more than just 25 cents. In fact, a few rare varieties have sold for hundreds, even thousands, of dollars in recent years. Let's start with the basics. The Arkansas State Quarter was the 25th coin released in the 50-state quarters series. It was released on October 20, 2003, and it honors the state's natural beauty. The reverse design features a beautiful scene with a diamond, a nod to Arkansas's crater of Diamond State Park, along with a mallard flying above a lake and towering pine trees in the background. It's one of the most detailed and symbolic designs in the entire series. Now, about the mint marks. These quarters were produced at two primary mints, the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D. The 2003 P Arkansas quarter has the mint mark on the obverse side, right next to George Washington's ponytail. Over 229 million were struck in Philadelphia, while the Denver Mint produced over 228 million. So yes, these are not rare in terms of general circulation. But stay with me because rarity is not always about mintage numbers. It's about condition and, most importantly, mint errors. Let's talk about those errors. This is where the money comes in. Several rare error versions of the 2003 Arkansas quarter have surfaced, and collectors are willing to pay serious cash for them. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die, specifically on the obverse side, where the word Liberty or the date may appear slightly doubled under magnification. These double die errors can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100 depending on the clarity and condition. Another major error is the off-center strike. These are coins that were not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the image to appear shifted or incomplete. If the off-center strike is dramatic, say 10 to 50% off, and the date is still visible, these coins can sell for over $250. Then there's the infamous die crack error. This is when the die used to strike the coin is cracked, causing raised lines or extra metal to appear on the surface. These cracks often look like veins or lightning bolts running through the coin's design. If you find a 2003 Arkansas quarter with clear die cracks, especially around the diamond or bird's wings, it could be worth upwards of $100 or more depending on the severity and visibility. Even more rare are coins with planchet errors. That means the blank piece of metal wasn't properly prepared before it was struck. Some Arkansas quarters have appeared on undersized or improperly alloyed planchets, giving them a unique appearance or weight. These are super rare and can bring in thousands of dollars from serious collectors. Now, let's talk about condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC. A coin graded MS60 is considered uncirculated, but a coin graded MS68 or MS69 is nearly flawless, and that's where the serious value comes in. In recent auctions, 2003P and 2003D Arkansas quarters graded MS68 have sold for between $300 and $600. A coin graded MS69, if you're lucky enough to find one, can fetch over $1,000. Even without errors, if you have a pristine, untouched Arkansas quarter, it's worth submitting for grading. You never know what you might have. And collectors are always hunting for high-grade examples to complete their state quarter sets. So what's the current market value in 2025? Let's break it down. A typical 2003 P or D Arkansas quarter in circulated condition is worth its face value, 25 cents. In uncirculated condition, such as MS63, you might get $1 to $3. But coins in higher mint states, like MS67 and above, start to climb rapidly. At MS68, You could expect anywhere from $150 to $400 depending on the mint and current demand. And for certified error coins, especially dramatic off-center strikes or double dies, the price can range from $200 all the way up to $2,000 or more in pristine condition. So what should you do? Check your change. Go through your quarter collection. Look closely at any 2003 Arkansas quarters you find. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to spot any doubling, cracks, or unusual features. And always handle coins by the edges to avoid fingerprints. If you think you've found something special, consider submitting it to a professional grading service. That small investment could turn a regular pocket change coin into a major payday. The 2003 P1836 Arkansas-Washington quarter is more than just a tribute to the natural state. It's a hidden treasure for collectors and maybe, just maybe, a big moneymaker for you. We're diving deep into two fascinating and valuable coins: the 2008 P Washington quarter and the 1907 Barber quarter dollar. These coins may look like ordinary pieces of change at first glance, but they each hold a unique place in American numismatic history, and some of them are worth a small fortune today. Let's start with the 2008 P Washington quarter. This coin is part of the State Quarters program, one of the most popular coin series in U.S. mint history. The P mint mark indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Specifically, the 2008 P quarters are part of the final year of the original State Quarter series, featuring Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, Alaska, and Hawaii. Among these, some 2008 P quarters have become incredibly valuable due to rare mint errors, limited production runs, or pristine condition. For example, collectors pay close attention to high-grade examples certified by PCGS or NGC, especially those with MS68 or higher grades. In recent years, some 2008 P quarters have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars when found in top condition or with dramatic mint errors. Let's talk about the Alaska quarter, one of the more sought-after 2008 P issues. A known error on this coin is the extra claw variety, where the bear appears to have an additional claw due to die gouges or doubled images. If you find one of these in mint condition, it could fetch well over $100 to $300 depending on grading. A regular 2008 P Alaska quarter in MS67 or MS68 can bring in similar figures at auction. But what makes these coins so valuable isn't just condition or rarity, it's also collector demand. The State Quarters program ignited a passion for coin collecting in millions of people. Coins from the final year of the series, like those from 2008, often have extra appeal due to their historical significance. Some collectors even try to complete entire graded sets, which drives up prices for the best-preserved examples. Now let's go further back in time and talk about the 1907 Barber quarter dollar. Unlike the modern quarters, this coin is part of the Barber coinage series, designed by Charles E. Barber and minted from 1892 to 1916. These coins were produced in smaller quantities than today's coins, and many didn't survive in high grades. That makes them quite desirable to collectors, especially over a century later. The 1907 Barber quarter was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and New Orleans. Each version has its own scarcity and value range. The Philadelphia version, without a mint mark, is the most common, but still worth a good sum in higher grades. The New Orleans version, marked with an O, and the Denver version, marked with a D, are significantly scarcer and can be worth much more. Now, here's the exciting part. A 1907 Barber quarter in average circulated condition might fetch anywhere from $10 to $50. But in uncirculated, mint state grades, these coins can soar in value. A coin graded MS65 can be worth $1,000 or more. Proof versions and those with full luster and no wear are even more valuable. Rarity increases dramatically if the coin is well struck with full details, especially in the Liberty's headband, where the word Liberty should be sharp and clear. Recently, high-grade 1907 Barber quarters have sold for impressive amounts at major coin auctions. One MS67 example sold for over $6,000. Coins with original surfaces, strong strikes, and exceptional eye appeal are the ones that bring in the big bucks. So what drives the value of these coins? It comes down to 5 main factors: rarity, condition, demand, mint mark, and historical interest. The 2008 P quarters are modern but can be rare in mint state or error versions. The 1907 Barber quarter is over a century old and much harder to find in top shape, making it a prize for any collector. If you happen to own either of these coins, you might want to have them professionally graded. Could turn out to be a hidden treasure sitting in your collection or even your pocket change. And if you're looking to invest in coins, always research recent auction prices, stay informed about market trends, and consult reputable dealers or coin grading services like PCGS and NGC.in. Today's coin market. Values fluctuate based on collector interest, economic conditions, and the number of certified examples in top condition. But one thing remains consistent. Well-preserved rare coins with strong collector demand will always command strong prices. We talk coins, cash, and everything in between. If you're into collecting rare coins that might be hiding in your change jar or inherited from a grandparent, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into two fascinating coins, the 2008 P Washington quarter and the 1912 quarter dollar. You might not believe it, but some of these coins are worth big money today. So grab a seat and let's unlock their history, collector secrets, and current market values. Let's start with the 2008 P Washington quarter. This coin is part of the 50-state quarters program that ran from 1999 through 2008. The P mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, what makes the 2008 P special is not just that it was one of the final state quarters, but that it includes the territories like Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, Alaska, and Hawaii. Some of these coins were minted with errors or in extremely low circulation condition, which adds to their value point. One of the most valuable 2008 P quarters is the Alaska coin. Some have been found with missing elements like the designer's initials or a weaker strike that creates a ghost-like appearance. There are also double die errors, which means parts of the image are duplicated due to a minting mistake. These errors are rare and in high demand. A perfect example is the 2008 P Hawaii quarter. In pristine mint state, 68 or higher condition, some of these have sold for over $200. But error coins can skyrocket even more. There was one Alaska 2008 P quarter with a dramatic die break that sold for over $500 at auction. Not bad for a coin you might find in your pocket. Next up, let's go way back over a century to the 1912 quarter dollar. Now, here's something interesting. Washington's face didn't appear on the quarter until 1932. So in 1912, the quarter design was the Barber quarter, named after its designer Charles E. Barber. This design featured the head of Liberty on the front and an eagle on the back. The 1912 Barber quarter is highly collectible today, especially in mint state or with a rare mint mark. The 1912 quarter came from three main mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver marked with a small D, and San Francisco marked with an S. The scarcest and most valuable of the three is often the San Francisco mint version in high grades. If you have a 1912 S Barber quarter in uncirculated condition, you're holding a treasure that could be worth thousands. To put it in perspective, a 1912 S in fine condition might sell for around $100 to $150. But in mint state 65 or higher, it can go for over $2,000 depending on the market. A certified proof 1912 Barber quarter can push even higher, especially if it's graded by PCGS or NGC with strong eye appeal and original luster. Now let's talk about the market today. Coin collecting has seen a strong resurgence. With economic uncertainty and inflation, collectors and investors are turning to hard assets, and rare coins are a popular choice. The value of high-grade coins and error coins has gone up significantly in recent years. Auction prices are hitting new highs for specific coins, especially those with historical significance or unique minting errors. If you've got a 2008 P quarter, flip it over and examine it carefully. Look for doubling in the lettering or image, missing elements, or odd strikes. These small details can turn a 25-cent piece into a coin worth hundreds. For the 1912 Barber quarter, condition is everything. If you've inherited coins from an older family member or picked one up at a flea market, don't clean it. Original patina can increase value. Get it graded professionally if it looks promising. So what should you look for in both of these coins for the 2008 P quarters? Seek out coins with sharp detail and no wear. Errors like die cracks, doubling, or off-center strikes can multiply value. For the 1912 Barber quarter, pay attention to the mint mark. An S mint in good condition is a keeper. If it's uncirculated or proof, you might be sitting on thousands. To wrap up, the 2008 P quarters are recent enough to still be in circulation, but rare enough in high condition to be collectible. The 1912 Barber quarter is a slice of American history and an enduring classic in the coin world. Check your pockets, check your drawers, and check with your relatives. You might have a fortune in your hands and not even know it. We dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, currency, and collectibles. Today, we're turning our attention to a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket change or old coin jar. The 2016 Washington quarter dollar. It looks ordinary, but there's a lot more than meets the eye. This coin could be worth more than you ever imagined. Let's uncover the full story. Let's start with the basics. The 2016 quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, which ran from 2010 to 2021. This series honored national parks and historic sites across the United States. Each year, 5 new quarters were released, featuring a unique design on the reverse side. The obverse, of course, still bore the familiar image of George Washington. Now, the 2016 quarters featured 5 different designs, from Shawnee National Forest in Illinois to Fort Moultrie in South Carolina. But today, we're zeroing in on coins minted in Denver, the 2016 Mark. Why are some of these quarters suddenly worth big money? Here's where things get interesting. It's all about errors, low populations and high grades, and collector demand. Let's talk errors first. Some 2016 quarters have been found with striking mistakes that make them incredibly valuable. For example, there are known cases of off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks. One Fort Moultrie quarter from Denver was found with a strong double die on the reverse flagpole and cannon. That coin sold for over $1,000 at auction. Another popular variety is a die clash, where elements from the obverse and reverse designs are imprinted where they shouldn't be due to a mistake in the striking process. These are rare, but when found in good condition, collectors are willing to pay top dollar. But it's not just errors that drive value. Grading matters a lot. A standard circulated 2016 quarter is worth just face value, 25 cents. But a pristine, uncirculated coin graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC. Now you're talking serious money. In fact, an MS68 Fort Moultrie quarter sold for over $400. Simply because of its near-perfect condition. Let's go deeper into each of the 2016 quarter designs and which ones are most in demand. First up, Shawnee National Forest, Illinois. This design features camel rock and a soaring red-tailed hawk. While common in circulation, mint state coins in MS67 or MS68 can fetch anywhere from $100 to $300, depending on the buyer and auction. Second, Cumberland Gap, Kentucky. Known as the first doorway to the West, this coin shows a frontiersman with a rifle. Look for die chips on the barrel or lettering. These small errors can increase value significantly. Mint state examples can reach prices between $75 to $200. Third, Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. This one features John Brown's fort. A few Denver minted quarters from this series have been found with weak strikes and doubled lettering, increasing interest among error collectors. MS67 and up? Easily $200 or more. Fourth, Theodore Roosevelt National Park, North Dakota. This coin features Roosevelt on horseback surveying the Badlands. While fewer errors have been reported, high-grade Denver issues are still desirable. Prices range from $50 to $150 in top grades. And finally, Fort Moultrie at Fort Sumter, South Carolina. This quarter stands out because it has had multiple error reports and the highest auction values among the 2016 series. Collectors have paid over $1,000 for error coins or top-tier grades. So what should you do? Start by checking your change. Get a magnifying glass and look closely at your 2016 quarters. Examine the reverse side carefully. Look for doubling, misalignment, die cracks, or anything unusual. Next, check the condition. If it has a brilliant shine and no visible wear, it might qualify for professional grading. If you think you've found a valuable coin, consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for certification. Yes, it costs money, but for a coin potentially worth hundreds or even thousands, it's worth the investment. Now let's talk about today's market. As of 2025, the demand for modern error coins and high-grade modern quarters is still strong. Collectors continue to chase rare mint state examples and quirky mint errors. eBay auctions and certified coin sites show consistent buying activity. A verified 2016 D quarter with a major error or MS68 grade can command anywhere from $400 to over $1,000. To wrap it all up, the 2016 D Washington quarter might seem like just another coin, but under the right conditions, with an error or a perfect strike, it can become a highly sought-after collector's item. And it might just be sitting in your pocket right now, so go check your change, dig through your coin jar, and keep your eyes peeled. You never know what treasure you might find. If you're a coin collector, a treasure hunter, or just curious about what change in your pocket might be worth, then today's video is just for you. We're going to dive deep into the world of the 2019 P Washington quarter dollar coin. We'll cover the full history of the design, what makes certain 2019 quarters extremely valuable, and how much they're worth in today's collector market. So grab your magnifying glass and let's uncover the hidden value of a coin you just might already own. Let's start with the basics. The 2019 P Washington quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This program ran from 2010 through 2021 and featured designs that honored national parks and historic sites across the United States. In 2019 alone, 5 unique quarters were released. These featured Lowell National Historical Park in Massachusetts, American Memorial Park in the Northern Mariana Islands, War in the Pacific National Historical Park in Guam, San Antonio Missions National Historical Park in Texas, and the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness in Idaho. Now you may be wondering, what's the P stand for? That P mint mark represents the Philadelphia Mint, one of the primary locations for striking United States coins. Millions of 2019 quarters were struck in Philadelphia, but not all of them are common. Some are rare due to special characteristics or striking errors, and that's where things start getting interesting. So what makes a 2019 P quarter valuable? There are a few factors. The first one is condition. Coins that have never been circulated and are in pristine, mint state condition can fetch higher prices. Collectors look for coins graded MS65 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC. For example, a perfectly preserved 2019 P Lowell quarter graded MS67 sold for over $100. Not bad for something that started as just 25 cents. But condition alone is not the only thing driving up value. What really excites collectors are error coins and special varieties. And 2019 had some very famous examples. Let's start with the big one. In 2019, the United States Mint did something new. For the first time ever, they included a special West Point Mint version of the quarters and distributed them randomly into circulation. These coins have a W mint mark and are worth quite a bit more than face value. But today we're focusing only on the Philadelphia P Mint coins. One of the most desirable 2019 P errors is the so-called extra leaf or double die error. In the Lowell quarter, for instance, collectors have identified doubling on areas like the windows or the spindles of the mill worker's loom. These double dies are the result of a misalignment during the coin striking process and can be worth anywhere from $20 to several $100 depending on how strong the doubling is and the coin's condition. Another popular one is the DDR or double die reverse found on the American Memorial Park quarter. Some of these show clear doubling on the lettering and architectural elements of the design. If you have one of these in high grade, it can be worth more than $100 to the right buyer. Then there are off-center strikes, die cracks, and retained cut errors. These are mechanical mistakes that happen when the die that strikes the coin becomes damaged or misaligned. Some off-center 2019 P quarters, especially when the date and mint mark are still visible, can go for $50 or more. So what's the current market like in 2025 for 2019 P Washington quarters? Well, here's what we know. Common circulated examples with no errors are still worth face value. You might find one in your pocket change today. But if you've got an uncirculated example or a known error coin, the demand is strong. Prices for error coins have been climbing steadily over the past few years. Online auctions and coin shows report steady sales of these coins, especially in mint state grades. Collectors are especially hunting for full sets of 2019 quarters from all 5 sites, with examples from each mint: Philadelphia, Denver, and West Point. So having a high-grade P mint quarter from any of the 5 locations adds significant value when completing a collection. If you want to find one of these valuable coins, Be sure to search your change carefully. Use a magnifying glass or a microscope to check for doubling and look closely at the edges for any misstrikes or cracks. And if you believe you've found something special, consider submitting it for grading. A certified coin is much more appealing to collectors and often sells for a premium. So to wrap up, the 2019 P Washington quarter might look like just another coin, but certain versions of it are absolutely worth big money. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or a flawless uncirculated example, these quarters have become a hot item in the numismatic world. Keep your eyes open, because your next valuable coin might be sitting right in your pocket. If you've ever come across a 2020 P Washington quarter in your change, you might be holding something far more valuable than just 25 cents. In today's video, we're diving deep into the story of the 2020 P Washington quarter, why it's so special, the key varieties you need to look for, and how much these coins are really worth in today's market. Let's start with the basics. In 2020, the United States Mint continued the Beautiful Quarters program, which featured different national parks and historical sites on the reverse of the quarter dollar. This program started in 2010 and ended in 2021. The P Mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where these quarters were struck. Now, what makes the 2020 P quarters stand out? There are 5 different designs released in 2020 as part of the Beautiful series. They are the National Park of American Samoa, where Farm National Historic Site, Salt River Bay National Historical Park, Marsh Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park, and Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve. Each of these designs has its own unique appeal, but among them one in particular has gotten a lot of attention: the 2020 P American Samoa quarter, also known as the Bat Quarter. This design features a Samoan fruit bat mother and her pup hanging upside down. It's symbolic and beautifully detailed, but it also sparked a lot of curiosity and buzz, especially because the design was released during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic, when people started making symbolic associations with bats. But what really gets collectors excited are the rare minting errors and varieties that can make a coin extremely valuable. And yes, the 2020 P Washington quarters are no exception. Let's break it down. First off, there's the 2020 P American Samoa Bat Quarter with the drooling bat error. This is a die chip error, where a piece of metal appears to be dripping from the bat's mouth. It's a minor error, but collectors love it, and some examples have sold for $10 to $20. Uncirculated. Then there's the Salt River Bay quarter with the struck-through grease error. This type of error happens when grease or debris prevents a part of the design from being struck clearly. Some of these coins can fetch over $50, depending on how dramatic the strike through is. The biggest stars, however, are the W-minted quarters. These aren't from the Philadelphia Mint, but it's worth mentioning because they appeared in circulation only in 2019 and 2020, and they're extremely limited. Only 2 million of each 2020 design were released with a W Mint mark. These quarters were a huge deal because they were the first ever W Mint quarters released into circulation by the US Mint. If you find a 2020 W quarter, especially in high grade, you're looking at values from $20 all the way to over $200 depending on condition. But back to the 2020 P quarters specifically, when it comes to mint state graded coins, this is where things can get really interesting. If you submit your 2020 P Washington quarter to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, and it comes back with a high grade such as MS67 or MS68, that coin could be worth some serious money. For example, in recent auctions, a 2020 P Salt River Bay quarter in MS68 condition sold for over $300. That's 1,200 times its face value. Think about that for a second. That's why checking your change is so important. Even lower grades like MS65 can sell for $10 to $25, especially if they're certified and from the more popular designs like the Bat Quarter. Now let's talk population. When we say population, we mean how many coins have been certified by grading companies at a particular grade level. The lower the population, the rarer the coin at that grade, and the more it can be worth. Some 2020 P quarters have very low populations in MS68 and higher, which is why collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. So what should you be looking for when you check your 2020 P quarters? Number 1, look at the surface. Check for strong luster and clean fields, no scratches or contact marks. The fewer the better. Number 2, look closely for any die chips, die cracks, doubling, or off-center strikes. These are the kinds of errors that can boost a coin's value significantly. And number 3, if you think you've got a gem, submit it for grading. If it comes back high, you could be sitting on a coin worth hundreds or more. Finally, let's look at the current market as of this year, 2025. The interest in 2020 quarters remains strong, especially in the error coin and high-grade certified markets. Common circulated 2020 P quarters are still worth face value, but uncirculated rolls can fetch a premium, and key errors and high grades continue to sell well at auctions. So, if you've got a jar of change sitting around or you're just getting into coin hunting, the 2020 P Washington quarters are a great place to start. There's history, variety, rarity, and value all packed into a small piece of metal. Keep your Eyes open, and you might just find a quarter that's worth a fortune. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more coin collecting tips, error coin videos, and real market updates every week. Drop a comment if you found a 2020p quarter with an error, or if you've sold one at a good price. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck treasure hunting.